Hey YouTube, Untamed here. It should come as no surprise that Stellantis has been struggling bad throughout the last few years. Specifically, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, and Chrysler have been on a steady downward spiral. In today's video, I'm going to highlight the big moves that Stellantis is making in response to President Trump's added tariffs. They could serve as the final nail in the coffin for the brand, or this move here could potentially be the final Hail Mary to save many of the 14 brands underneath that Stellantis umbrella. In today's video, I'm going to highlight and showcase just how grim things have gotten for many of those vehicle manufacturers, so stick with me. Well, instead of being subjected to the added 25% tariffs of vehicles being produced in other countries intended for the US market, we are already seeing Stellantis move production of some of the Ram pickup trucks from Mexico up to the United States, up to Michigan in particular. In addition to that, we are also seeing Stellantis move the Dodge Charger from Canada down into the United States, as well as the Chrysler Pacificas. As a part of this, we've already seen Stellantis temporarily halt production out of the Windsor assembly plant up in Ontario, Canada, as well as the Toluca assembly plant down in Mexico. In addition to this, we've seen temporary layoffs of 900 employees, 900 US employees out of 5 different facilities. We're also seeing the brand make some pretty drastic changes to their supply chain proportions, trying to get more of their assembly parts, pieces, and components to be manufactured within the United States comparatively to other cheaper labor countries. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of the video. Why has Stellantis found themselves in such a sticky position here? For starters, we've seen huge price increases to their MSRPs, 42% higher since 2019. Really, throughout the pandemic and really the hyperinflation that we witnessed across the board has led to these huge MSRP price hikes. Stellantis, in general, was actually among the worst offenders. Jeep, in particular, saw a 54% MSRP price hike since that time. To go one step further, we've seen a 22% drop in the shareholder stock market price per share year over year. Right now, it costs about $10.50 per stock, per share, if you were to buy into Stellantis. Right around March of 2024, early March 2024, it was over $28. Not only were shareholders upset with the huge loss in their stock prices, we also have very upset consumers, right? Because they got rid of the Hemi V8. As of the end of 2024, they got rid of the V8. However, with the EPA restrictions and requirements being lifted quite a bit underneath the Trump administration, they have decided to bring back the V8. Underneath new management, new CEO of Stellantis, they're bringing back the Hemi V8. They're bringing back the Jeep Wrangler 392. They're bringing back the Ram TRX. They're bringing back these big dogs that really a lot of enthusiasts loved and appreciated. To give you an idea of just how sad things have gotten for Dodge in particular, they introduced that Dodge Daytona, the EV muscle car, which is perhaps the saddest thing I've ever witnessed. If you've ever seen one, they're quite pathetic, right? And not only are they wildly expensive, people who buy a muscle car aren't trying to go get an EV or electric powered version of it, right? So even with 0% interest rate offerings for 60 months or 72 months and several $1,000s off with government subsidies and other tax credits being applied, people still are not buying them. Go to any Dodge dealership right now and you'll see lines upon lines of them sitting unsold collecting dust. Personally, I find it quite pathetic. If you go to any Jeep dealership, you're going to see lines upon lines of unsold Jeep Wrangler and Jeep Gladiator inventory. I do find it kind of sad because, in my opinion, I've always grown up thinking that the Jeep Wrangler was an American icon. I've always thought of it as such. And now, seeing them just sit on dealership lots, they can't sell them even with 30% off discounts being applied and incentivized interest rates, they can't move that metal. That's kind of sad to me. But let's face it, I think a lot of us can agree that Stellantis at large got kind of greedy. I mean, we see it with the Jeep Wagoneer, the Jeep Grand Wagoneer, right? They try to enter the luxury SUV and luxury full-size SUV segment, and well, they fell flat on their face. Pricing a Jeep over $100,000, sometimes $110,000, $115,000 for the Grand Wagoneers, well, people don't buy Jeep for that. They buy Jeep for the utilitarian aspect of it, and of course, the affordability. Both of those things have gone out the window. Because let's face it, people are not going to spend BMW or Mercedes-Benz money on a Jeep Wagoneer. That's the truth. And when you add on to the fact that the reliability ratings of so many Stellantis products have gone down tremendously over the years, combined with the fact that price tags continue to get shot to the moon, all while the quality just seemingly continues to go down, it just doesn't make sense. People cannot justify paying those astronomical price tags for these Stellantis products. But it is a catch-22 bringing back jobs and production to the United States, right? Because we do pay our employees much better than what we pay employees in Mexico, right? I mean, for Toyota's example in particular, they moved the Toyota Tacoma entirely to Mexico, where they pay about $2.70 per hour to a Mexican employee, comparatively to what they paid American employees out of San Antonio, Texas previously, about $16 to $18 an hour. So nearly 80% savings in labor costs alone, but they still continue to hike the price tag up. Doesn't make sense. So it is a little ignorant to believe that prices will come down as we move production back to the United States. It is ignorant to believe because we're paying more for that labor. But that's the whole purpose of the tariffs. If they keep them being built in the cheaper labor countries as they are, they're going to still be paying the same amount. So might as well bring it to the country in which those vehicles are intended for. And call me a proud American all you want, but I do see a quality difference in the vehicles being produced in cheaper labor countries like China, like Mexico, like India, comparatively to what you would find being built out of America. I'm not ignorant to believe that everything we produce here by Americans is exceptional quality, because I know that's not the case. But when you compare it to these cheaper labor countries, I would 100% take that over those. Tell you what, I do not envy Ram dealers right now. Ram pickup trucks have the longest days on lot time of any other vehicle within the United States. I'm talking the Ram 1500, 2500, 3500, all of them. Collectively, many of them are sitting on lots over 500 days. I didn't misspeak there. Over 500 days, nearly a year and a half has become an average for so many examples, which is pretty pathetic to say out loud. Then we have examples like this Colorado Jeep Dodge Ram Chrysler dealership, where a sales rep went to management and said, hey sir, no matter what we do, we cannot sell these Ram pickup trucks. So what do we do? Management looked at the sales rep and he said, have you considered wrapping these Ram pickup trucks in the LGBTQ plus MS13 flag colors? Have you considered that? It's like, no sir, that's a great idea. We're gonna do that and charge an additional $4,500. Let's see how that pans out. And let me paint a clear picture for you. Just in 2024, we sold 373,000 Ram pickup trucks within the United States, 373,000 in total. That is a 16% drop comparatively to the sales in 2023. So it should come as no surprise here in 2025, we did see a little bit of an uptick, a little bit of a surge in sales because we had so many carryover units from 2023 and 2024 coming into 2025. So inventory levels were absolutely through the roof. Here at the beginning of 2025, we've already seen a 14% uptick in sales year over year. Because inventory levels are through the roof right now, floor plan costs are eating away at dealerships. It really is a death by 1,000 cut situation. You go to any dealership and you look and you see the hundreds upon hundreds of unsold vehicles sitting on their lots month to month, sometimes over a year sitting there. Every single month, that dealership is getting charged an interest rate on every single unit, every single vehicle, and that begins to bleed out that dealer. Now, if you take anything away from this video, I want you to understand that right now we're seeing so many dealerships deploy the whole fear-mongering tactic of tariffs. Hey, you gotta come buy your pre-tariff vehicle, come get it. Every single dealership seemingly is deploying that right now. Come get your vehicle before the tariffs hit. And well, a lot of Americans are falling victim to those headlines. They're coming out and they're buying their vehicle, but those Americans buying right now, they were already anticipating buying a vehicle later in the year. So they were maybe gonna buy maybe this summer, maybe in fall, and the end of year sales come along. So they're just kind of buying prematurely. A lot of them kind of impulse buying, admittedly, right? But what does that mean for summer sales? Historically speaking, right, this time of year, April, May timeframe, that's post-tax season. That's when dealerships tend to see a bit of an increase in sales volume, a notable increase anyway. It's right around June, July, August timeframe is kind of the frozen middle of the year. Families are going on vacation, kiddos are fresh out of school, they're investing in those vacations, they're not really investing in buying a new vehicle. So that frozen middle is gonna hit even harder this year, I would argue, because those people who were gonna buy that time frame anyway already just went out and bought their pre-tariff vehicle out of the fear-mongering tactic. Hope that makes sense. So June, July, August timeframe, if you are interested in buying, I think that's when you're going to get the best deals, especially out of Stellantis. And just the other day, I went over to a CarMax lot and I walked in, I saw so many unsold Ram pickup trucks, so many unsold Jeep Wranglers, Jeep Grand Cherokees, you name it. So many Stellantis products sitting there, and they had been sitting there for months unsold. I've seen them with price drops and then price hikes. They cannot move that metal right now. So I definitely feel for used dealers right now because they can't sell new Stellantis products. What makes them think that they can push a used example? They're gonna need to offer a tremendous discount and incentivize interest rates if they're gonna try to move used examples. So I'll wrap up the video there, guys. As always, I sincerely appreciate you taking the time to tune in to these videos. If you found any value in this whatsoever, I do respectfully request that you please consider liking and subscribing. Your support means a lot, and I promise you it doesn't go unnoticed. Until next time.